There is a story out of Detroit that absolutely breaks my heart. And anybody with a heart has heard this story, and it has torn you up, and you cannot believe it's happening. We have told you the story about Tiffany, whose last name is kept confidential for her own safety and security. But here's a woman that was raped, and she decided to do the brave thing and keep the child, and she has raised the child herself. When times got tough, she went to the government and asked for help. That's what it's for. Not people just living off it and sponging off it, but somebody who was really trying to do it themselves and then went and couldn't make it, and so the government goes to help. Well, I'm from the government. I'm here to help. You know that that's not help. What do? They ask her for the name of the father of the child. Well, the father of the child had been in prison as a rapist. And the judge orders that this is going to be your new co-parent. He now has full rights to the child. It's outrageous. We're going to tell you the end of the story. Hopefully that will come tomorrow. But Tiffany has been gracious enough to join us. And I think you need to hear the story from the beginning. Hello, Tiffany. How are you?
Hello, I'm good. How are you?
Very good. This audience has great respect for you, and thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Tiffany, can you, if you don't mind, can you take us back to when you're 12 so people understand how bad this was?
Okay. When I was 12, me and my sister, my best friend, decided that we would sneak out of the house like most pre-teenagers do. We were going uptown to meet another one of our girlfriends, and that's when Christopher had pulled up. Now, we were friends with his niece, so we didn't second guess getting into the vehicle with him. You know, we knew him. We didn't think anything. So then he decided, we got in the vehicle, we went all the way down to Detroit, and then on our way back, he had stole gas from a gas station, and then he threw our phones out of the vehicle and took us to a house near his dad's house. And that's where we were kept for 2 days. My sister ended up getting released, and that's how the cops ended up finding us.
How did he hold you in this place for 3 days?
Well, we didn't know where we were. We didn't know anything. There was no houses around us. There was nowhere to go. So when he took my sister back to town to drop her off, me and my friend decided that we would stay there, thinking that my sister would be able to lead the cops back to where we were. Well, she was able to, but it took quite some time. It was like 2 or 3 hours later they had finally showed up. And
were all of you raped by him?
No, just me.
So you decide to keep the baby, which had to be a tough decision.
Yes, it was. I mean, I knew I wouldn't have an abortion no matter what, but it was just, am I keeping my son or am I giving him up for adoption? Those were the only two choices.
And when did you decide to keep your son?
About 3 days after I found out I was pregnant.
Good for you. So were your parents supportive? Everybody was supportive?
Yeah, for the most part. Most of my mom, my dad, my grandma, they were all pretty supportive. My aunts and uncles were not very happy. They wanted me to have an abortion.
And you wouldn't have an abortion because?
Because that's not what I believe in. My child was innocent.
So you raise your child, and you're still going to school, or do you drop out of school?
I dropped out of school.
Okay. And how do you make ends meet at 12? You're living with your mom and dad?
Yeah, I was living with my mom and dad. When I turned 14, I went out and I was washing dishes at a bar and grill in town. And then I was working at McDonald's and factory work and, anything really just to get by.
And when did you reach out for government assistance?
I've actually been on government assistance since I was 18 years old. I don't know why it took them 3 years to decide that they wanted to know who the father was or really what their reasoning is.
And so when they asked you who the father was, what was your response?
I told them, because they told me that if I didn't comply with the survey online, that they would take my government assistance away.
And did you tell them that this was a rape?
There was no way to tell them because it's all on the computer. Like, there's no box to check or anything. So I put in all the information, and then when it got sent to the prosecutor's office, when I went up there to sign all the paperwork, the first thing I told them that this was a rape case. And they said, well, this is still standard procedure. We still have to do this.
And so they contacted him, the rapist. He had gone to prison?
Yeah, he got 6 months in the county jail when he raped me because he got attempted CSC, criminal sexual conduct, attempted.
How did he not get
pregnant?
How did he not? How was it attempted, and how did he not get kidnapping as well?
Exactly. That's what we don't know. The prosecuting attorney gave him a plea deal 2 days before our trial to take the plea deal, and that would give him a year in the county jail. And then his mom had a heart attack, so they let him out early, 6 months early, to take care of her.
So when he found out that he was now getting visitation rights and he was a co-parent with you, how did you find that out?
Actually, I had gotten to contact with Rebecca Kiesling, which is my attorney, because I didn't have a court order. I was living in Florida at the time. So I had called Rebecca, a Right to Life, and they gave me Rebecca's number. When I called Rebecca, she went ahead and got a copy of the court order, and that's when we found out that he had joint legal custody and visitation rights.
Has he made contact?
Through his niece, yes.
Have you...
His niece had texted me and asked, hey, Chris wants to know if he can see his son.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, so it was a little scary.
Does your son know his father's past?
No, he just learned. I married 2 years ago, so my husband is who my son thought was his dad the whole time, that he just wasn't around when he was younger. But
Right.
Now that he's seen me on TV and everything, he understands, because I had to sit down and talk to him like, you might have to go meet your new dad. Like, we didn't know what was going to happen.
Did you tell him? Did you tell him how he was conceived?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because that's got to be.
He's a little young still.
It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
And hard on him. I think he's going to. I mean, well, I know you've talked to psychiatrist, I'm sure, about this, but the battle that he is going to have raging inside of him when he finds out is I pray for you.
Yeah, he's still like he you can tell, like, he's not been himself lately. The other day he was sitting on the floor crying for no reason, and he wouldn't tell me what was wrong or anything. But I know, like, he's worried that something's going to happen or that somebody's going to take him away. Or, we've had CPS in and out. We've had lawyers. We've been to court. He's seen me on TV. He's 8 years old. He understands somewhat.
Something happens tomorrow, Tiffany. What are we expecting tomorrow?
Well, actually, they have moved the court date to the 1st now.
Oh, jeez.
Unfortunately, yeah. So now we won't know anything till the 1st.
And what are we expecting to hear from the judge?
I'm not really sure because it's in front of a different judge this time. This is for CPS had filed a case against him getting rights. So that'll be on the 1st.
Okay, so the last judge came out and said, okay, wait a minute, I didn't know that this was a rape case. And so they were going to open it back up again. Are your attorneys telling you that there's a pretty good chance that his rights to the child are going to be taken away?
That's what we're hoping. The judge has stayed his order. Judge Ross has stayed his order when he said that he didn't know anything about Christopher, which on both rape cases, he arraigned Christopher. And if he can't do mental math, I mean, why should a 21-year-old have an 8-year-old son with a 27-year-old guy?
It's a very good point.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You brought up something amazing, Tiffany, and we kind of went through it quickly, but it's really something to focus on. This is a terrible thing that happened to you, and I think all of society would say you're completely justified in terminating that pregnancy, and that is what society would tell you to do, and you say you didn't even consider it. Why?
It's just that, to me, my son was innocent. A baby it doesn't make a baby how it was conceived, I guess is what I'm trying to say. He didn't do any wrong. My son is the light of my life. He's everything. Even till this day, I would not go back and make a different decision.
The circumstances of the conception did not determine the value of the life.
Yes.
That's incredible. I mean,
that is incredible because most people will say, I mean, except in cases of rape and incest. And for you to have been raped at 12 is remarkable, and it speaks volumes about you, as does going to wash dishes and going to work at McDonald's and trying to make ends meet and raising your son by yourself. You're a remarkable girl. Remarkable.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany, for sharing. And is there anything our audience can do besides pray for you?
Nope. There is a GoFundMe page that one of my good friends set up because the courthouse gave the rapist me and my son's address.
Oh, jeez.
Come on.
So now he knows where we live.
So you're looking to move and raise some funds?
Yep. Okay. So that way we can relocate, so that way he can't know where we live. He doesn't have our address.
Okay. So what is the GoFundMe page?
I sent an email to you guys with the link. I'm not sure right offhand.
Okay, we'll find it and we'll post it. We'll post it right away and get it out.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. I appreciate it. God bless you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Amazing. No matter how good of a parent you are, you're ever going to be able to do something as amazing for your child as she did? I mean, that is.
Hey, we're going to get you this. Wow. We're going to get you this information. Let's rock her world. This is an audience that can just change people's lives in 10 minutes. I'm going to give that to you. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to get that GoFundMe page, and then let's rock her world, because she is a remarkable. That's a true superhero right there.